have.
I'd like to welcome everyone joining us. So we will just give more time maybe for more people to join before we start. I hope you can hear me no lonely. And for the attendees, if you can hear me, please type it on the chat. So we will start straight away. Thank you all for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining from. I'd like to welcome you all to this webinar and thank you for sparing time to join us in this exclusive webinar where we are going to just take you through the Swedish Institute Scholarship. Sorry about that, yeah. So I'd like to welcome you all. My name is Catherine. I am a biostatistician and I'm also a public health practitioner. I'm very passionate about education and I'm happy when people are able to access education from wherever. And for that reason, I founded Uplifted Africa, which is an organization that works to ensure that everyone who is qualified is able to access education in any part of the world. So in that reason, we are partnering with different organizations and different people to increase access to education through scholarship, apprenticeship, and to just promote the growth of the African continent in different sectors, education, leadership, agriculture, and all that. So I'd like to thank you all because by joining this webinar, it's a clear testament that you're really interested in something. And this is just one of the scholarships. There are so many scholarships available. There's so many opportunities available across the world. And today, I just want you to follow keenly, be attentive, show interest in whatever we are going to have in this webinar. And above all, I believe that you will make an effort to apply. Sometimes I encourage people and tell them that the greatest achievement or the first achievement you will ever make when applying for scholarships is, clicking the first submit button. So I believe that even as you attend this webinar, you're actually planning to make this application and submit it. And it may not be the first one. It may not be the last one. You still apply for more, but it will give you the courage to keep seeking for opportunities to better yourself. So today I am so privileged to be having partnering with Nolwandle Made, who is an Swedish Institute Scholarship alumni. So she applied for the scholarship, she went through the scholarship, she went through the education system, and she's a beneficiary. She studied MSc in Rural Development and Natural Resources Management at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences in Uppsala University in Sweden between 2017 and 2019. Her area of expertise is in water resources management, and particularly water energy food nexus. She is currently working as a researcher at the Center for Social Justice at Stellenbosch University in South Africa. She's also a research associate at the University of Johannesburg, and she's also committed to assisting African scholars like you in their efforts to secure opportunities to study in Sweden and anywhere else they wish to. So this is someone I'd love you to look up to and reach out to as an important network, even as you seek opportunities across the world. So without taking so much time, I'd like to invite Nolwandle to just take us through this session today. You're welcome, Nolwandle.
Thank you, Catherine. Good evening, everyone from South Africa. I just want, before we start, I see Mohammed's hand has been up for a while. I wonder if he had anything to say, or maybe he raised his hand by mistake. Mohammed?
Mohammed Abu.
Yes. Okay. Catherine, with your indulgence, I know that we seem to be with 20 people in the room. There are 20 people in the room now. But if I can just ask everybody, and the number keeps going up, I like knowing who I'm talking to. This is a webinar. Oh, sorry. It's a different platform. Sorry. Yeah. Just forgot that. No, it's fine. Everyone, please, on chat, if you can just tell me a little bit about yourself. I would love to meet all of you. It's always nice to know who I'm talking to. As Katrina said, my name is Nolwandle Made, and you can see that I'm much older than a usual applicant for scholarships. I was 42 years old when I applied for the Swedish Institute Scholarship. It was then in 2016 I started my application process, late 2016. It was there were two categories, well, three, I think. One of them being South Africa had its own category back then of 10 scholarships. We don't now, we fall under the global scholarship now. But back then it was, I think for me, I don't know, I don't want to be flippant about it. I think the process that it was just, I was just competing with other South Africans and not the whole world. It made it easier. And I'll tell you, the first time I saw the SI scholarship advertised, I think I saw it 5 times on Facebook before I saw it the 6th time on Instagram. And then I said, what is this advert? Why does it always pop up in my social network? So I finally clicked on it and I was like, oh, I'm too old for this, because you know most scholarships says maximum age 35 years old. And then I thought, but they didn't say anything about age. So the worst they can do is tell me no. And that's when I decided to apply. It helped that at the time I was unemployed, so I had nothing to lose as well. So I just want to give that background, that if you feel, and as Catherine said, your first step is attending this webinar actually, or maybe this is not even the first webinar you're attending, because some countries also have webinars and on how to apply, especially African countries. You might be part of our network. Peter's and I am, fortunately, Peter couldn't be here because his baby is not feeling well. So he's the one who actually invited me here. Thanks, Peter. But I have been helping Africans apply for the Swedish scholarship for maybe the past 4 years, I think, since 2019, I think, 2019, 2020. And it's not always, you don't always get people. I think so far I've had 4 people admitted in that time, so it's not easy. But I've had 2 of them said I've inspired them to apply for other scholarships, and one got a scholarship in Taiwan and one got a scholarship in the UK. So that's very good. So Peter had prepared a presentation. I'll go through it. I'll talk through it. I may not talk through everything as he put it in his presentation because it's not a presentation I prepared, but this is a presentation that SI, the Swedish, when I say SI, please know that I mean the Swedish Institute. So when I say, presentation objectives, explain what the SI scholarship and the aim is about, highlight the eligibility criteria and benefits, unpack the application process, describe what happens after admissions, and then we'll have a Q&A. I wonder, Catherine, if the Q&A is going to be interactive. I don't know how this is the first time, disclaimer, this is the first time I'm using this platform. So if I make mistakes, please bear with me. So anyway, the SI, what is it about? It's a fully funded master's scholarship for full-time study in Sweden. And it says here over 700 scholarships to professionals from over 40 countries. But what that means, it's not that for the 2024 intake, it's going to be 700 people. Remember that a Swedish master's, for those who have done their research to get here, a Swedish master's usually takes 2 years. So this 700 includes people, the intake from 2023. It's usually around 400 per annum of scholarships that they offer. And what is its aim? To develop a network of future global leaders that will contribute to the United Nations 2030 agenda for sustainable development and drive the development of their home countries forward. I want you to
Are you
please
sharing your screen?
Oh, you know what?
Yeah, please share your screen.
Oh, sorry. I said, please forgive me.
It's okay.
I'm just going on and presenting without sharing the screen. Please forgive me, everyone. So I'll continue talking as I'm sharing. Okay, maybe I'll just redo this part where I am, because the other part was just laying out what this presentation will be about. So can you see my screen? Is it better this way? I know when I share this way, you see better.
Yes, yes, it's clear.
Know that. Okay, no, it's fine. I don't need to see because anyway, it's a webinar. So as I was saying, fully funded master's scholarship for full-time study in Sweden. So you will be based in Sweden. And about 700 scholarships to professionals from over 40 countries. This is every year. Sweden will be sponsoring about 700 scholarships, as I was saying, because some masters, a few of them, not all of them. I know the law ones are 1 year, for example, but not just law. There are some that are just 1 year, but most of them are 2 years. So there'll be people in Sweden already still from last year, who started studying in August last year. So they'll still be funded as you go forward. So what it aims to do I'm going to emphasize this, to develop a network of future global leaders that will contribute to the UN's 2030 agenda for sustainable development, Agenda 2030, and drive the development of their home countries forward. And that, when I say I'm going to emphasize this, is when you apply to Sweden, whatever work you're doing right now, you need to start, and already the application process is about to close. So you really should have all your ducks in a row by now, I should imagine. You need to look at what you're doing and what contribution you're making towards the SDGs. For example, as Catherine says, I work in water mostly. So obviously that's SDG 6, but that's obvious because I work in water. But there are other parts of my work that are not necessarily water. I work a lot with gender issues. I work a lot with inequality, which is gender issues is SDG 5. Water is SDG 6. Inequalities is SDG 10. I work with zero hunger. I work with, which is it SDG 1. I work with a lot of, my work is cross-cutting, but that's because I've got a lot of experience. I've been working for many years. Some of you may be working in a particular field. Catherine, you said you are a health worker, right? So good health, for example, SDG 3, or you know which work you're doing. If you haven't thought about that, because this part is not important for the university admissions application portion of your application, but it is very important for the scholarship portion of your application. And as you know, as some of you have found out, the Swedish application is twofold. So the eligibility criteria is citizens of 41 countries. Peter just listed the African ones here in Colombia for some reason. I've just seen that now. And Ecuador, oh yeah, Colombia and Ecuador. But he listed the African countries that are eligible. So you can see if you're in Cameroon, Egypt, Ethiopia, Gambia, Ghana, Kenya, Liberia, Malawi, Morocco, Nigeria, Rwanda, South Africa, Sudan, Tanzania, Tunisia, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. For some reason, they've taken out Lesotho because we used to have Lesotho, but they've only ever had one scholarship holder, and she was my year, which was very nice and interesting. And so I am assuming most of you on this platform already know which master's programs you're going to apply for, because there are lots of them. There are very many, and you should know by now, I think. So if I'm going to give you one advice while I'm doing this, is research, research, research. You need to be prepared before you send that application. I review people's applications for this, and you will be surprised how unprepared people, the level of unpreparedness people show when they send you their motivation letter, for example. And you can tell that this person hasn't really read as much as they should. And really, a lot of questions are already answered online. When I applied, I didn't have a me when I applied, which is why I'm doing this. I didn't have a me. I didn't have Peter. I didn't have anyone to help me. I was all on my own, and I did it on my own. But I don't want that for you. But for us to be able to help you, you need to show preparedness, because you're not going to get the scholarship if you haven't done your research. If you haven't by now been to study in Sweden.se, if you haven't been to university admissions.se, if you haven't been, I don't know what the SIGP global program thing by heart is, I think it's sischolarships.se. If you haven't been in any of these sites, you are not doing enough to get the scholarship. You can do it. I'm not saying you can't do it, but because you might have, for example, I have somebody who was in Nigeria a few years ago, and I think he was supposed to study in my year. That's how we met. He was supposed to study in my university. We've never met. We met on Facebook. He couldn't come to Sweden. He actually couldn't finish his application process because for Nigeria, there's an extra criteria that said, I don't know if it's still there, I don't know if any of you are Nigerian, that said you need the university transcript. Your university transcript needs to come from the university. So the university needs to send it to the corresponding university in Sweden. So you couldn't, as an applicant, a Nigerian applicant, send your university transcripts straight to the university like other countries. So there are there might be some criteria for certain countries that you need to be prepared, that you need time. That's why this scholarship opened in October, late October, and it only closes this month, mid this month. So they are giving you that time to get your documents in order. So all non-EU international EU or the European Union or European Economic Commission members, the international students from non-EU countries are liable to pay fees in Sweden. So those are the people who qualify for the scholarship. And this is important. You must demonstrate work and a leadership experience of at least 3,000 hours. And this wasn't part of my application process. This is a part when you ask questions, I'm going to have to try and refer you to somebody else because this wasn't part of my application process. For one thing, South Africa, I said we had our own own scholarship back when I applied in 2016, 2017. So we didn't need to show work experience and leadership experience, but the other countries did. So I do have friends who can help, but unfortunately, I can't help with the calculation of hours because I've never done it before. I'm sure I can figure it out. I've just never tried to do it before. The scholarship benefits, so you get your tuition is covered. You don't even see bills for your tuition. So all your university fees are covered. You get a monthly stipend of now 12,000 Swedish krona to cover your living expenses. We got 9,000 in 2017 to 2019, which was enough to live on. You have to pay your own rent, but as an international student, some cities, like Catherine said, I studied at SLU, the Swedish Institute of Agricultural Sciences in Uppsala. Peter studied at Uppsala University. Uppsala is a very big university town, so is Lund, for example. So Uppsala and SLU, which is the Swedish Institute of Agricultural Sciences, they offer their international students accommodation. Doesn't mean they pay for it. They just give you accommodation if you want it, because it's Swedish. Trying to find accommodation in Sweden is not an easy thing. So if you are going to be studying, please also look at your university's website if they do offer accommodation for international students, because some do, some don't. So if they don't, you need to start as soon as you are admitted into a program. Even as you're waiting for scholarship, maybe you should start looking around at how much you would need to pay for accommodation and how to find accommodation, because there might be long waiting periods. That's why I liked going to Uppsala as a university town. And yeah, I think towns like Uppsala and towns like Lund, they do something like that. But there might be universities like Stockholm. I don't know if Stockholm offers. I know some of them. I know somebody who went to KTH at Stockholm, and I think they offered them the accommodation. But it's something you need to look at as soon as possible. Insurance against illness and accidents. You're given insurance. Really you don't need any money is what I'm saying. And they give you a travel grant of 15,000. That's still the same as we had, which you get when you get to Sweden. But this will help you if you were to borrow money for your flight or things like that. That will help you with that. And you get paid immediately when you get to Sweden. Well, not as soon as you get that card, because you have to activate it. It might take 24 to 48 working hours. So as soon as you get there, go get your card. I don't know where you get it now. With us, you used to have to go to your university. They will have all your cards at the university. And it's like a bank card, which is not really, but you will learn all those ins and outs. I don't want you to bog you down with details you might not need right now. Then you also get to join the, remember the aim, you get to join the Future Global Professionals, the Network for Future Global Professionals, NFGP. And this is in every university usually has this network for SI scholarship holders. And you become your own family, really. And after that, people like me get to be part of the alumni network. And by the way, with the NFGP and the alumni network, they still give you funds to do certain projects if you want. So you have to apply for funds and do projects together at your university. And those projects are usually geared towards, I go back again, SDGs. So SDGs are very important to Sweden. Application process and timelines. So I don't know about your own countries. Here in South Africa, we have something, I forget what it's called. It's a central application, whatever, admissions portal. I forget what it's called, but it's something like this university admissions, where you go to apply for your master's programs. So let's say me, I applied for Rural Development and Natural Resources Management. And I'll go click on the link that you see there, and I will go look for this program and I will apply for it. You are allowed to apply for up to 4 master's programs, but you also have to rate them by order of priority. I'll tell you why. Because your priority, for example, with me, don't do what I did. I'm going to tell you my story, but please do not do this because it's very risky. I only applied for 1 program. You're allowed to apply for 1. So you can apply for up to 4, but you're allowed to apply for 1 or 2 or 3. So I applied for 1 because I only wanted this 1 program. Remember, I said I was older, so I didn't want to have to waste my time with things I would not. I mean, there are other good programs that I could have applied for. That's why I'm saying don't do what I did. It wasn't smart, but I knew what I wanted, and I knew why I wanted what I wanted. And I applied for 1. But that gives me, if I hadn't gotten the scholarship, then the university, SLU, would have looked that, oh, you only applied for this 1 program. You prioritize this program. So maybe we can offer you, because universities also offer scholarships, but these scholarships are usually just for tuition only. So you'll still need to pay your living expenses. So if you apply, let's say you have global health, you have whatever other 3 programs, but global health is your first program. Then you say, I'm applying for global health, say at Uppsala University, you might apply for another global health degree at Lund University and whatever, depending on what you want to study. Then Uppsala University will look at, say, oh, you wanted to do this global health study, but you didn't get you were admitted to this program, and it was your first choice. Then we maybe offer you a scholarship for your tuition, which if you can take it up and somehow pay for living expenses, then that's a good deal. So please, when you apply, make sure that the first program that you put on top when you rate your programs is the one you really want to do, because then you rate them. So the application deadline is next week. So that's why I said, I'm hoping by now you have all your ducks in a row, and then you can pay, I think, you until the 1st of February. And the required documents for, oh, this is now scholarship. I told you that the thing is two-pronged. So you apply for admission, and then what's the date? Just hold on a sec. I'm going to give you a date now. I've just seen it now. But sometime in March, I think you apply for a, let me see. Oh, yeah, between the 12th. So this is a very limited period. Remember I said the university admissions open late October to now, to next week. This, for the scholarship, is between the 12th and the 28th of February. And so it's a very tight deadline to apply. That's why you said you need to have your documents in order before you apply. And then on the 21st of March, which is a Human Rights Day here in South Africa, you get your results for university admissions. So if you applied, say, for 4 programs, you might get admitted to all 4. But SI will only look at your first choice again. So it's your first choice that gets looked at for scholarships. So it's important that when you receive your university results, you accept. If for example you get accepted to your first choice, then you accept that you will take that spot, so that the other 3 fall off and you are left with this one. And that's the one that SI will look at for your application. But in the SI application changes a lot. It's changed immensely since I applied. When I applied, for example, a 2-phase application, and there was, you first applied and they shortlisted that, and then you applied, the people who were shortlisted were invited to apply for the main application. So, but now you apply once and it changes almost, because I told you I review people's applications. It seems like almost every 2 years it changes. So it's difficult for me to tell you exactly what's going to be in this application. I don't know if the templates are out. If anybody knows, you can put it for everyone on the chat. I can't check the chat right now. I'll check it once you guys start asking questions. So if you've put something on the chat and you think I'm ignoring you, I'm not ignoring you. I haven't checked it yet. Catherine, you can stop me if there's something on the chat that somebody needs for me to go over again, please.
We will answer them after your presentation.
Okay. So a CV, they provide the template for that. Proof of work and leadership experience, signed, remember, with the hours that I spoke about, signed by a referee or notary with an official stamp. Swedish people are very, they like the stamp thing. I don't know about you guys. Here in South Africa, we hardly ever use stamps anymore. But Swedish people, even when I was applying, the stamp thing was a thing. So yeah, you need to go with a notary with an official stamp. 2 letters of reference. One must be from work-based referee. So you guys, I always tell people when they want to apply, they need to start preparing at least a year earlier than they start applying, because then you can find even volunteer work if you can't find work. So it needs to be type printed, signed and stamped again, and scanned and uploaded. Copy of passport. Wait, I can't see this. Oh yeah, and a motivation letter and deadline. Can I hide this? I think, yeah. And deadline. Oh, deadline is the 28th, like I said, between the 12th and the 28th of February is your deadline for application. Peter was going to go through university admissions with you, but I'm not going to do that for you guys. You create your account, you select your courses, you choose the universities, and then by the 1st of February, you should have paid the 900 Swedish krona, which hasn't changed as well since I applied. It was still 900 Swedish krona even then. And this is all. So you create an account and log into the portal. You search for programs, but this I'm thinking you've already done. You read your programs. In order of preference, you provide application documents and you pay your application fees. And I can't say that some universities will ask for a letter to, like a motivation letter, statement of intent. They ask for things like that. Not all universities do that. My application didn't require that, for example, and I think even other people still applying for my program, it doesn't require that. But other programs are very competitive. For example, there's a course that's given by my university, SLU and Uppsala University jointly, called Sustainable Development, which is very, very popular. Everybody seems to want to do this course. And I think they asked for a letter of intent. So look for requirements. If your one application doesn't require a letter of intent, doesn't mean your other, the second choice or the third choice, doesn't. All four might require it. All four might not require it. Some might not. So yeah, read. Like I said, you need to research and read on your own. There are things that you need to figure out on your own, basically. So applications are checked against required documents and formats. This is usually done by embassy staff, I think. So it's done in your own country, usually. And then evaluated. You don't really need to know this. You just need to know that for university admissions. Oh yeah, I'm talking about. I'm talking about the scholarship. University admissions are done by your university, so you may get a conditional admission. A conditional admission means that you've been admitted for a program, but you still need to accept it. Like I said, you need to accept it as soon as possible. And if you have no admission, means you didn't make it into that program. If it's reserved, it means, for example, if I applied and for 4 and I get accepted in all 4 and I accept number 1, then the number 3s I reject. Then you might be next on that number to get into these programs. But what that means is you are no longer, if you don't get conditional admission on the 21st, that's it for the scholarship, because they start evaluating the applications based on the results of the 21st. So if you don't get accepted, even if you get a reserved and might later be accepted into a program, you won't be evaluated for scholarship. So your application, if you don't get in, they don't evaluate it. They only evaluate applications that have been accepted by a university, which makes sense really, because it will be wasting time to evaluate applications of somebody who didn't get into a university. And let me tell you something about SI. You might be very smart. And I'm going to say this, especially for the smart students who get straight A's, because I've seen this in evaluating applications. Smart students are used to being smart. That means they are used to being excellent all the time. They are used to their exceptionality. SI doesn't look at your marks. They don't care about your marks. They figure out that university admissions has already looked at that. They don't care about your grades. They don't care if you got a C or an A. To them, you are just somebody who got accepted into this program. So they are going to evaluate you on the set of criteria they have in front of them: your CV, your work experience, your leadership experience, and most importantly, your motivation. That's all they care about. So people who are exceptional, sometimes I find that because you've been exceptional all your life, you don't know how to motivate yourself. Please start thinking about what you're going to say about yourself. And also bear in mind that you want in the last year and the last 2 years, the application motivation was 1,000 characters, which works out to about 250 words. That's a paragraph to describe yourself and make yourself stand out. That's not a lot. So you need to start practicing now, writing about yourself in a paragraph in 250 words so that you stand out. Humanize yourself. Humanize yourself. Make yourself stand out. Maybe you I don't know. For example, with me, I like talking about my name, but in 250 characters, you might not have that. My name is, I always go like this. My name is Nolwandle, which means mother of the ocean. I'm from a low village called Begulwandle, which means ocean view, in a small resort town of Amanzimtoti, which means sweet waters. And I grew up to work in water. And the funny thing about me is I grew up during apartheid South Africa, and I lived in this on the edge of a white resort town, which had water, and we didn't have water, but we had a water purification plant in my village, which we were not allowed to use. So that humanizes me. Somebody will remember that story. It might not be everybody, but somebody will remember that story. And it might stand out against your just, oh, I studied this and I studied that and I passed that and I worked there and I did that. And this is what I want to apply my application. This is how I want to change my country. So you need to, I can't stress this enough. Start practicing today to write about yourself in 250 words. 250 words is not a lot. We had a page, and even that was still not a lot. But we had a page and we had other questions as well that were asked. Nowadays, you just ask this one question, and you need to write about it, answer it, and about yourself in 250 characters, which is not a lot. So you need to have applied then by the 28th, and then they do the review at your embassy. And then I think they forward to SI, they are shortlisted people. And yeah, then if you're lucky, you get that email to say, dear successful applicant, I'm telling you that when I got that email, it was the best day of my life. And I knew I was going to get that email. And it was a whole weekend before they were supposed to announce the results. And I knew I was going to get that answer that day. And I did, but I was lucky. That's it from me for now. I am open to your questions. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Nolwandle, for the exclusive presentation. And thank you so much for, supporting Peter so much. I know you were to do this together and it wasn't possible. And we'd like to apologize. Peter was not able to be here because of other emergencies. Thank you so much. You have said you were lucky, but I can also say that you worked hard. You did something. And I think that is part of the encouragement that each of the attendees should carry, that there is work that you still have to do. There are things that you have to do. And of course, that will lead us to the questions that people have asked. But before that, you're applying for scholarships, you're looking for opportunities. There are things that you need to have. A friend of mine here in the UK once told me that before you think of going to study abroad, please manifest, at least have a passport, Yes, and there are other things like English language requirements, and I think you're going to answer that. There is someone asking about they're asking about whether there is an English language requirement because they've applied for other scholarship and they were not
Okay,
able
I
to
think
get
let's
because
go
of that.
one by one with questions, and you can just because I think it's easier that so that we don't miss anyone.
Yeah, so I will.
Yeah, just read a question or ask a question on behalf of somebody. People, please start writing also your questions
Your
on the,
questions, yeah.
yeah, please.
Yeah, so
I
that
see
leads
somebody
me.
has also calculated the
Yeah, no, I
calculation.
actually found it online and I pasted it there.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was you. Yes, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yes.
So the first question is I've been working, but I've always wanted to do an MBA. First was Canada. I tried applying to Toronto School of Management, but the issue was, forwarding my application, or stop me from forwarding my application was the English proficiency. So is that a requirement for this scholarship?
Yes, yes. I forgot to say that. I'm sorry, because in South Africans are exempt from that requirement. Some countries are exempt, like South Africa, because our studies are in English. And if you're studying, if you can prove that your course, your undergrad work was all in English, then you are exempt from the English proficiency. But please check the requirements. They will tell you for your country what are the language requirements. I'm sorry, I forgot about the language requirement.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think the South African people must have fought to have it there. I think Nigerians have also tried to fight for, the English exemption for some universities. So we are on our way there, because like I come from Kenya, and in Kenya, from the moment you step school, it's all in English, but then even in the UK, you're still required to have the English proficiency. So I'll go to the next question. So please check if you come from a country that requires English, the English proficiency, please have it. I'm from Sierra Leone. Am I not eligible? Was it in the list?
I don't know if Peter, I didn't check. I'm sorry. I didn't check. I will tell you this. There is a guy I know from Sierra Leone who studied the same exact course I did. He did it after me. So that's all I can answer, because some countries are taken off sometimes, some are kept on. Please check. Please check. They've got a list of eligible countries. They will tell you. Like I said, if you haven't been to the Study in Sweden website, university admissions website, and the SI Global Scholarship websites, then you are not ready for this application process.
There is this other question from Nakusimba, who also asks about English proficiency. My major query, I'm not sure what really you're asking, but maybe you can ask again. Your major query is about English proficiency.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
My major, yeah, no, Nagusumba, I like I said, it's difficult for me to answer that question. For you can look like I said, some countries are exempt, like mine, but yours might not be, and you will need that English proficiency to prove that you can, because most of the programs, I think almost all master's programs in Sweden are in English. So you need to prove that you can follow and study in English.
Great. So the next one, and what if I don't have any leadership experience because I don't literally?
Then you start now, you postpone applying, because that's 900 krona, Swedish krona. It's not small change for most people. So I will suggest that you postpone and you work between now and the next application study to get that leadership experience. And you might be still in university. So pick up leadership in university. Be part of your students' representative committee, or if you live in a what are they called? The dorms. If you live in your student accommodation, they also have leadership positions that are available. Your school will have leadership positions. Your church will have leadership positions if you go to church. Your what else? But look, your community will have leadership. Your political party, whatever. You've got a year. You've got a year. I would strongly suggest postponing applying because you're not going to get in if you have no leadership experience.
Okay, thank you. The next question, can we get access to the document after everything? This webinar is being streamed also on YouTube Live. So maybe after this, you can just go and search on YouTube Uplifted Africa. You will still able to watch it later. You may not be able to share the particular document, but you are able to follow everything. You can share it with your colleagues. Yeah.
And this information, like I said, if you've been to university admissions, if you've been to study in Sweden, if you've been in the SI Global Scholarship, this information is readily available there. It's nothing new. I have told you, other than my own experiences, I have told you nothing that's not on those websites.
Okay, thank you. So I think this one has been answered. Can you still apply if you do not have proof of leadership experience? I think you have answered that. Is it possible for PhD studies as well?
Well, this is different. PhD in Sweden, okay, the short answer is no. PhD in Sweden is a job. So it is advertised as any vacancy would be advertised. So if your particular university or in your field of study, when it comes to PhD, let me put it this way, when it comes to PhD, you need to look at all the universities and what if they offer your area of expertise, and look at their vacancy pages. Look at their vacancy pages, because PhDs will be advertised there. They are advertised as jobs. You have to apply for them as a job, and they're not part of this process. So this is only for master's study.
Thank you. So is it okay to post the admissions link here? I have just posted it down there. So you will just follow it. Yeah. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I just want to know, what exactly should a referee write about proof of work and leadership?
They usually have templates for such things. Like I said, SI usually changes their templates. But the most important thing is they know you've worked there, and what kind of initiative you've shown as a worker. Like any motivation that a job will have for an employee. So they need to say you will be able to work independently, for example, things like that. But they have templates for such things, and you then pass that to your referee. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the referee is supposed to, oh yeah, they're supposed to stamp it and you scan it, and they don't send it directly to the university or to SI. I'm like, so yeah, I would say you need to trust to send to your referee is somebody you trust. Obviously, somebody you work with. But if you're not in good terms with your supervisor, or they might not want you to go to Sweden, maybe somebody else within your organization might be a good person to give you a reference. So be smart about choosing your referee, is what I'm saying.
Thank you. My transcript stating that degree was conducted in English. Is this enough? Doreen from Uganda.
Doreen, like I said, I can't say the requirements. I can ask my friend Winnie. She's from Uganda, but she was a year before me, so she applied in 2016. In 2015. I'll say, look at the requirements. They will tell you for your country what you need.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Is it possible to be not considered for SI for having been to Sweden? Sorry about that. Yeah, is it possible? Sorry, just have to switch it off here. So, is it possible to not be considered for SI for having been to Sweden before? Like for my case, I was an Erasmus exchange for 6 months in Sweden.
I don't think that will make you ineligible. But again, you need to check the requirements. It might be if you were there within a year or something, I don't know. But I don't think, I know that Sweden, even during my year, I only knew one person who had studied another master's in Italy, and then applied, two actually. One had studied a master's in Italy, then applied to study in Sweden and got the scholarship, and one had studied in Canada and applied for a master's to study in Sweden, and they got the scholarship. So what I'm saying is, look at the eligibility criteria and see. But I don't think that should stop you from applying. Can't hear you.
Is the residency permit granted after studies, or you have to return to your home country?
Oh, this is a hard and hot potato issue right now. So when I finished studying, I packed my bags and I left Sweden. The very week I graduated, defended my thesis, I was on a plane back home. But I've got friends who are still living in Sweden even today. But things have changed. Governments have changed. Sweden is it now has a right-wing government, and they didn't before. They had a center-left government, or whatever that means. Now they've got a right-wing government coalition. And this right-wing government coalition is anti-immigrants. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You might be able to stay, but you need to find a job pretty quickly. And it's not easy. Join LinkedIn. I'll try and think of let me check. Just give me 2 seconds. There's a group. This is what I want. It's not easy to get a job in Sweden. I'm not going to lie. Unless you're lucky to get a PhD position straight after you study, maybe your supervisor because your supervisor has to have money to hire PhD students. Maybe your supervisor might have a grant that they've just received, and they think that your master's will build up into a PhD, and you might be then able to stay in Sweden. I think it's called New to Sweden, this thing I want, but I might be wrong. It's on LinkedIn, but it's just people living in Sweden right now who are looking for jobs, and it really isn't easy. I'm trying to look for Tepiso because she helps. No, it's fine. So I'm not going to lie. People stay. Almost everybody I knew stayed. I left. Some of them have even married and have kids. So it's possible. Let me put it that way. It's possible. But it's harder now than it was maybe then.
I hope that was clear. So I think Nakusimba is still asking, because all my studies were conducted in English. Currently, I'm residing in Kensington, Joburg with family. Can I apply from here in order to be exempted from the English requirement?
Nakusima, can you quickly write if you studied in South Africa?
So meanwhile, we can continue, right?
Yeah, because if you studied in South Africa, you might make a case for it. But again, you can't apply if you're not South African. Even if you live in South Africa, you can't apply as a South African. You can apply as, unless you are a citizen of South Africa now, then you can apply as a South African. But if you're not a citizen and have a residence permit, then you have to apply as a member of your home country. And then, but if you studied in South Africa and can show that you studied in South Africa, you probably will be exempt. But I can't say. It's up to you to do that research if you are or not.
Okay. I left the university in 2021. I'm working. Talk more about leadership. How do I acquire it?
Can you repeat that? They're working from 2021.
Yes. So talk more about leadership. How do they acquire leadership if they're already working?
You know what? Leadership may not always be I'm a manager at work. You need to be able to, guys, you need to think out of the box to be able to win this one. You need to be able to think out of the box. Like I said, I'm, for example, I'm the chairperson of the liturgy committee in my church. So that's leadership. That's leadership. I may not be a boss at work. Leadership doesn't mean you have to be a boss. They know that you're young, most of you. They know that you've probably just left university. But in university, what leadership roles did you have in your university? Maybe you're part of the PTA, the Parents Teacher Association at your child's school. That's leadership. So think outside the box. Don't think I'm a manager at work, then I'm a leader. Just look at your current work and make it work for you.
And thank you about that answer, because I was applying for the Chevening Scholarship and they also want leadership. I was just looking around the kind of things people write for leadership, and I was like, I think I've been a leader since I was born, honestly, because I've been leading my siblings. I've been taking care of them when my parents are not there. So, but you'll see the kind of examples people are giving. I was the captain of my school when I was in grade 4, and you go ahead and give an example of something that you did in that capacity. You know, maybe you helped the school, maybe form something, you led in grass planting, you know, those are activities, because you don't have to say these big things that I know I'm a WHO Youth Global Ambassador. No, they're little leadership experiences. And an example I can give is one that someone told me that after the parents died, he decided to take the leadership of the family and was taking care of the siblings and went ahead to explain what he was doing. That is more than leadership. So don't crack your head. Yeah. So I'm from Uganda. I had a bachelor's degree in business from Albania last year. I want to have a master's too. Though I have worked after school before that degree, can I still apply?
Yes, I did my undergrad degree I graduated in, and that was after taking some time off because of funds. I graduated in 2001. I started my degree in 1994, took a break, then finished in 2000 and graduated in 2001. Worked after that, and then worked until 2014, didn't work 2014, 2015, studied some more in 2015, 2016, just doing some project manager postgrad diploma. And in 2016, late 2016, like I said, I applied for SI. So yes, you can apply so long as your degree is 4 years. I think it's how many credits? I think it's 90 credits. Please don't take my word for that one. Please check for yourself. So you will check the comparison of the degree you have to the Swedish credits that they want. So because I know somebody wanted to apply desperately, but they did. They were short 20 credits or something because they did a 3-year degree. So please check your credits as well. That's something I didn't talk about, that you have the right amount of credits to apply.
Next, can I apply if I'm currently an undergraduate student on my final semester?
So long as you'll be done by August of this year. I think they allow you. I don't know. I think they allow you if you're still studying, so long as you'll be done by the time you start the new degree. But again, please check the eligibility criteria.
How can I be notified on my email immediately when applications are open?
They've been open since they open every year, late October. So if you follow SI or study in Sweden on social media, you will know. That information is publicly available. They open every year, late October, early November, late October, early November, around that time. So you need to start checking around that time every year. Oh, sorry, Catherine. And also something I didn't say. Catherine spoke about scholarships at the beginning. I used to, probably why I got this advert for SI. I follow Opportunities for Africans. Follow that. Okay. It has all the scholarships you can think of in under one. And also subscribe to their email newsletter.
Yeah, I also follow Opportunities for Africa, so keep following. They will always have updates on LinkedIn and all the other platforms. Thanks for the nice presentation. I need more clarification in calculating the hours. About this, I would maybe quickly say that just type online. It will take you to the Q&A section of the Swedish Institute Scholarship. And it's very clear. It's just the excerpt that I pasted here, but it will give you a whole link on how to calculate the hours. So that should be simple. I think it's still Nakusimba saying, well, that was by Justin. And of course, Nakusimba said she studied in Uganda. Yeah, so yeah.
No, I think we responded to her.
Yeah. Is there an age limit to apply like in the UK?
Nope. Like I said, probably were not at the beginning of my presentation. I was 42 years old when I applied to go study in Sweden. I'm 48 now.
Okay. Still about leadership, do they require evidence?
Well, they require a letter, which you, does anybody, okay, let me see if I can find a template of this letter. Just hold on for me. I want to see if I can find a template of this, the latest template of this leadership. Because, as I said, I never had to write one, so it might not be something. Eligibility, previous experience, work experience, leadership. Okay, I'm just going to read what they have on here and then try to find a template. Leadership experience involves the experience to lead other colleagues, organizations, mandate to influence the development strategy for the organization you work at, allocate tasks to colleagues, and or to have familiarity with decision-making processes. In addition to your work experience, you must be able to demonstrate your leadership experience. The experience may be demonstrated through, for instance, previous work experience or involvement in a civil society organization or network. The leadership experience has no requirement regarding the minimum number of hours. However, priority will be given to applicants with demonstrated strong and relevant leadership experience from employment. So yes, maybe like we say, you can use whatever for leadership, but it might be better to use leadership. Like I'm saying, most of you might still be in a university, so and you're working while you're studying. Then it might be better to look at what at your experience from university. I'm trying to see if they've got templates out yet. Probably they don't. But no, they probably don't. Apply for a global professional scholarship. Oh yeah, they do have templates. Proof of leadership. Okay, I'm going to try and share it. Let's wait until it opens. So that we all look at how it looks like. Because, yeah. So everything you submit, you should use a template that they give you at this website. Did you put the site for global scholarships, Catherine?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You did? Okay.
It's
so
on the Q&A.
it's on that site. Where is this thing? Did it open? Okay, I'm fine with you opening read only. Okay, let's say enable. Crap, okay. Let's just do that. Okay, I'm going to try and share this. Let me just make it larger so that, oh, now it's not responding. Okay, you know what? I'm unable to open it right now. I'll tell you once it starts responding. Okay, let's continue for now. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else with another question? Or was it the last question?
Someone was asking, how far can you go in helping someone apply for these scholarships?
What do you mean, how far? I can't apply for you. That's what I do, basically. If you're asking what I do, I will check your motivation. For example, I don't check CVs, I don't check leadership experience and all of that. That's why I don't remember what the template looks like. What I help you with is motivation and your letters of intent, because I think that's where you need most help. So that's what I do.
Someone is asking, are you continuing?
No. You can.
Okay, someone is asking, can I copy paste the templates from university itself? Maybe the templates you're talking about.
No, the templates. Let me put it this way. When you're applying for this process, your first step should be, I always tell people, go to studyinSweden.se. Read as much as you can. Then it will lead you to university admissions. Read as much as you can and create a profile for yourself. Even if you're not going to apply, create a profile. And then go to and Catherine has thoughtfully put these links on the chat. Then go to also the Swedish Institute Scholarships for Global Professionals and read. And this is why I'm saying, if you are going to succeed in this, in getting this scholarship, you're going to have to be the person who does their own research. Because in Sweden, even if you succeed getting helped by other people, in Sweden, you are required to study independently and in groups as much as there will be guidance from your lecturers. So there's a lot of work you have to do independently. That's why I said at the beginning, I help. I've got a WhatsApp group of really, I don't know, lots of other Africans that I'm helping apply. And one of my rules to help people is I do not help somebody who hasn't read anything. I don't want anyone to come to me and say, where do I start? Because the internet is there for all of us. It's open for all of us. If you're not going to do that first step for yourself, to study and arm yourself as much as you can with what you need, by now you're not ready to apply, because as I'm saying, the process is closing next week. So you need to have your documents ready. You need to know by now what you want to study. It's not something you wake up to and say, I'm going to. And another thing, if you apply at the last minute, you run a risk of everyone applying at the last minute and the site crashing and you losing out. So I need for you guys to be prepared. I don't baby anyone. I will not hold your hand. I will help you over the final line. That's all I'm here to do. Help you over the final line, but you have to get there by yourself. Okay, because I help a lot of people and I don't have time, and I'm doing this for free. That means I'm doing it after my work hours. So I can't help you if you can't help yourself. There are questions I refuse to answer from even people in my WhatsApp group. The good thing about the WhatsApp group is that you can, I'll try and get a link for you if you want to join, is that there are other people who might answer your question because they've done their research on the group. And there are other people who are helping, mentoring as well. They might have time, but I'm the most active one. So if I don't answer you, chances are nobody else will answer you. But the other applicants might answer you because they've done their research. That's a advantage of joining that group. I'm going to share. Let me see, I can get WhatsApp on my computer. I'm going to try and share the link to join. Don't send me a thing and say, please, may I join? Because I asked somebody, and that's another thing you need to learn about Sweden. Privacy laws are very, very important. So I don't add anyone onto a group. I give them a link and they add themselves. So yeah, I'm sorry, but you need to do your research. And if you haven't done your research by now, you better start today. You do still have time, a week. It's not much, but you do still have time if you can get, if your documents are already ready to apply. But yeah, you're on your own until you get on that line, then I help you.
And I think that's very that's straightforward, and I think it's good you say that as a mentor. It's good that you mentor people who are able to carry themselves. Sometimes it becomes so heavy if you have to take someone through the portal step by step, and there are resources everywhere, YouTube, online, the internet. So go ahead and read, like Nolwandle has said, research, research, research. And if you really want something, you will not rest until you get it. So I think, Nolwandle, you can share the link to the WhatsApp. Those who are interested can click just before before the time when we will end the meeting. Yeah, I think someone is asking, how can I reach you once my motivation letter is ready? I think maybe through the WhatsApp group.
If you join the WhatsApp, I will give you my email address. Okay, wait.
You can type it on the Q&A. They will see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh crap. You know what? No, I don't want to open chat.
No, it's Q&A.
No.
Oh,
It's from my side. My right link. My computer is. I need a long new laptop. Oh yeah, here's copy. Copy. I hope it's copied. My right click is not working, so I need to work smart. Yeah, there it is. I have shared. Can you see the link? Did it go through?
yeah, it came to the chat where only me can access. So send it to the Q&A.
Oh, Q&A. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me do that. I'm doing that now. I have sent it.
Yeah, to the Q&A, and all the participants
Okay.
will see.
So you can join the chat using that. Please respect everybody's time. Like I'm saying, don't ask. They ask stupid questions here in this chat because questions that already have answers on their website, those are stupid questions. We answer questions that don't have answers, that we help you with as much as we can, but we can't help you to read for yourself.
Wow. Thank you so much for the exclusive presentation, and thank you also for answering questions from everyone who asked. And I'd like to thank everyone who shows an interest. And this is the first step. Just attending this webinar is a first step. So the next is try and apply. If this window of application is too close for you because there is money that is involved and you have to pay, then you can prepare right now and wait for the next window of application. Someone was asking, how can I receive a reminder? Please put it on your Google Calendar so that you can get a notification when October comes and you keep checking on the website. I'd like to encourage all of you that these opportunities will not just come to your doorstep, but then you have to go for them. There are very many other scholarships. Apart from the Swedish Institute Scholarship, there are so many other scholarships that are also free, where you don't have to pay any application fee. There's some that will want you to pay admission fee, that will be manageable. But in all these, you have to work in different ways. You have to work. When Nolandle was talking about writing the motivation, I have seen how sometimes you can sit and stare at your screen, writing 2 sentences, and you're like, so you mean I know nothing about myself, or did I just forget? And sometimes it even gets difficult when they have given you the few words. I think 250 words are so few.
Very few.
Very few. So sometimes you, whenever they want you to write a lot, sometimes you also lack the words to reach there. When they give you too little, it's also a challenge to fit most of the things you want to say, but then it gets better with time. When you make the first application, the second one will be better, the third one will be better, and it gets easier as you go. So I'd like to encourage you that make this useful by at least applying for a scholarship. If you don't manage this one, try another one. There are many scholarships open across the globe, and you can literally study anywhere that you want. Just know the requirements. And I will add that research, know the requirements, know what they need, prepare. There are very many videos on YouTube on different scholarships. There is a lot of resources online. Please go and read. The other thing is network. Nolwanle has made an open call. You can join that chat if you can. But apart from that, I tell people it costs nothing to just go on LinkedIn and search Swedish Institute wherever, and it will bring you will see anyone who is maybe an SI alumni, anyone who is currently a student there, anyone who's ever applied, anyone who is wherever. If you reach out to at least 5 people, 2 people will respond and they're able to take you through, they're able to read through your application, they're able to help you with the review and all that to make you have a strong application. So I want to thank you all for coming, and I want to wish you all the best in your scholarship application endeavors. And I wish that if you get a scholarship, please reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. My name is Catherine Akoth Kodhiambo, and I'm very passionate about people reaching opportunities. So if you get an opportunity, just let me know and we will celebrate together. Thank you so much, Nolwandle, for sparing your time. You sound very busy from your introduction. You're doing so much and working in 2 universities at the same time, but still you care about our brothers and sisters in Africa and across the world. Thank you for sparing your time.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for
it's
having
very
me. So
precious. Yeah.
I
And
really,
thank you for
really
answering the
enjoyed
questions.
this.
Yeah. It's great. Thank you so much, and God bless you, and God bless everyone. So I will go ahead and end this. If you need anything, please reach out to me on LinkedIn, but you can
Excuse
follow
me, Catherine, one thing before you close the portal that I forgot. For South Africans, if there's a South African here, I don't know if there is a South African, the 900 krona to apply on university admissions, you can apply to have that exempted through the Department of Higher Education and Training. They have they offer to pay that fee for you. So for South Africans, I just wanted to point that out, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And you know, South Africa, when we grow up, we want to be like you, because you seem to be having so many exemptions in your country.
No, it's just, I think with us, we worked a lot with Sweden during apartheid. Sweden was really a good friend of South Africa during apartheid. Our first embassy outside of South Africa and Kenya, those from Kenya, yay. And Lusaka, Zambia, yes. Our first embassy outside, even in Kenya, we had a school that was funded by Sweden during apartheid to train the kids of the MK members, condolences with the armed wing of the ANC. So Sweden has always been a good friend of South Africa. That's why we have these exceptions.
Yeah, but we also give it for the advocacy people within your country. We appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate all of you. By the way, this is a first step. This is a first step. Don't let yourself down. You've taken the first step. Go all the way. Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone, and have a good the rest of the rest of your day, whatever time it is. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.